Hello and welcome to the first ever 28th episode of Whoniverse. Here with me, Jamie. Okay, that's it. It's just me. Dum de 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 dum do. Yeah. So yeah, it's just me. Brian couldn't come because he's got some builder people coming around to his house. We record every Thursday at work, usually. Phoebe, I'm trying to do a podcast. Phoebe's my cat. Phoebe, what are you doing? Phoebe, stop it. Just stop it. I'm trying to record a podcast. The number one Doctor Who podcast in Yorkshire, might I add. So yeah, Brian couldn't come. Lewis is on holiday. He recently got a new job. Woo! So, it's no longer... Still kind of a work colleague, but not really. So, we're going to miss you. We're going to miss you, Lewis. And Brian's... Like I said, he is busy being Bob the Builder. Well, I say being Bob the Builder. He's actually watching other people be Bob the Builder. He's micromanaging the building. So, it's like Bob the Builder's manager. Anyway, so for the first topic of the show... voting in the TARDIS. What enemy would we like to see return in Doctor Who? So the options were Valiard, Master Missy, Sontarans, or something new. Now, it was a landslide victory for Master Missy, who had more than half of the votes, that's 52%. And the rest of the poll was tied. Actually tied at 16% apiece. So Valiad, 16%, Sontaran, 16%, Something New, 16%. Now, having researched the Valiad a bit more and having a conversation about the Valiad with one of my friends who will remain nameless, but he or she knows who he or she is. Basically, we deduced that, so... In early Doctor Who, Valiant was approaching the Doctor and was saying he was the creation of the 13th Doctor, even disguising himself as the 13th Doctor, who at that point was a male, but we know now the 13th Doctor is a female. Now, the Doctor it's a shame Brian's not here really, but apparently the Doctor was researching how to extend her own regeneration powers at the 13th regeneration. Don't know why. Maybe it'll pop up in the upcoming seasons. In doing so, created the Valiant. Now, my colleague, friend, we'll give him a code name, Smith. Smith said that maybe it's like a master or something, or maybe it's actually regeneration of a Doctor, where the Doctor regenerates into the Valiant. And then we see the next season is the Doctor as the Valiant, and you go back and see previous regenerations. Now, I was thinking slightly different, but I believe the Valiant is a different person. And what happens is, when the Doctor's researching future regenerations, instead of extending her own life, she actually takes one regeneration away from herself. So, instead of... basically creates another copy of herself, another Doctor, of what she would have regenerated into, and that becomes the Valiant. So the Valiant, in my mythos, would only have one life, one face. Now, here's the thing. Actually, that's where it kind of falls apart. Let's say the Valiant can regenerate as well, okay? Because I think the Valiant is a Time Lord. So let's say the Valiant can regenerate. Now, here's what I feel. What if Graham was the Valiant? Yeah, I said it. What if Graham is the Valiant and he's been travelling with the 13th Doctor not to save the universe or learn life lessons along the way? No. What if Graham, as the Valiant, is travelling with the Doctor to make sure he is created, therefore creating a paradox where the Valiant cannot be created without the Valiant helping? Where he's just trying to make sure he is created at some point. Because everything the Valiant has said in the past, in Classic Who, came to pass. You would get this companion. You will go to this place at a certain time. Like the Valiant knows the Doctor's entire past, which again makes you feel like it's either a copy of a Doctor, like a split regeneration, I call it, or maybe it is the Doctor. But I think it is a split regeneration, and I think maybe Graham is actually is actually the Valiant in disguise, and that'll be the big twist. Now, that would be a really, really good way to end Jodie Whittaker's series. And maybe it's the Valiant that would force her to regenerate as well. And at which point the Doctor's next regeneration would be fighting the Valiant. Or, this is what I want to happen, because I really do like Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, and I want it to have at least one really good story arc. Here's what I want to happen. The next series, quite normal, but it's building up to the creation of the Valiant. Okay? So we go through all our normal stories, Sontarans or whatever, we come to invade Earth. Doctor stops and goes, la 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 la, haha, you've been defeated, hehe. And then at the end of and then towards the end, he starts seeing the Valiant be created. And Graham swoops in, blah, blah. Let's say Graham isn't a Valiant anyway. So the Valiant gets created at the end of the next season. And then Jodie Whittaker's last season, her third season, is the Doctor and the Valiant duking it out, trying to outsmart each other. Valiant's trying to destroy, planets or whatever. And the Doctor's just, like a really good tic-tac-toe. Kind of like what the Master and the Doctor is, but on a grander scale. That's what I want to happen. And that's also why I want the Valiant to be in the next series of Doctor Who, because I feel like I'm gonna go into this, but the Master Mist is kind of an obvious choice, and I feel like that storyline in New Who, at the very least, is so played out. It's just so done. Like, I don't know what else he can possibly do with that story arc. It's like finished, kaput, done. Like, it's gotten to the point where I'm actually kind of bored of the Master. Yeah, there, I said it. I'm bored of the Master. Like, it's just not an interesting character anymore. Like David Tennant, John Sim as the Master facing off against David Tennant's Doctor was amazing with sound of drumming. And then Missy was absolutely an absolute nutcase where you don't even know what she's going through her head. And eventually having, both Masters, both New Who Masters, on screen at the same time was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And, Master of Disguise. But I really do feel that we don't need another story. I don't think you need a Master in Jodie. I think there's enough Doctor Who enemies or even frenemies in Doctor Who that we haven't really explored well enough in New Who that I feel like we can take it a bit further. Again, which is why I really want the Valiant in there. Now, we got some comments from some of the people, who have looked at the poll and voted on the poll. So we got an email from Christopher Byrne. I really enjoy Sontarans and would like to see them have a more impending doom surrounding them. So yeah, that's pretty much it's basically what I was saying last week, where we need more. Excuse me. I think it would be the same for all the Doctor Who enemies, really, where other than the Pating, which was a rather pathetic enemy, but not a horrible enemy, didn't really have that much impending doom. I never felt like, Doctor Who's never going to be the same. Oh, no. I think the last time, to my memory, that we had like a sort of impending doom scenario was with the Cybermen towards, at the tail end of Capaldi's era, where they're like taking over all these times. Oh, that was such a clever episode. I miss Moffat so much. Now, the next comment, just to say, I'm always ready to be criticised. I love being criticised. I always look forward to it. Here we go. Bazzy2005 says, why ask the question and then give the something new option. Makes the question pointless. You know what, Bazzy? I completely agree with you. Well, the decision wasn't completely up to me. I did put it up to the decision of the listeners, but maybe I should have vetoed that one and figured that the something new option does kind of negate the point of having the poll in the first place. Maybe we should have actually had something else, along, like Daleks, for example. The reason it's on there is, do we want the reason I was saying it was because I thought maybe we'd want a series of Doctor Who with nothing but new enemies, but we kind of already had that. So yeah, I completely get where you're coming from, Bazian, and take it on board. We are going to be revisiting these polls in year 1. Well, we're currently in year 0 of the podcast, and in year 1 we're going to be revisiting a lot of the polls we've done on the show so far, with taking on board the feedback we've been given in the past. So yeah, thank you, Bazzy. You'll forever be cemented in how the show goes forward. So yeah, so next week, what is our next poll? And this is a funny one. It's not a question that really gets put forward often. So it's a bit of a thinker. Outside of a traditional series format, how else do you consume Doctor Who? Now, I know it sounds like a supermarket asking a general product question, so I know what to sell you next, but I'm actually genuinely curious. In between seasons of Doctor Who, how do you consume it? Now, I'll put down the generic ones. These are going to be the options, really. So the first option I've got here is novels. Now, excuse me. With novels, I absolutely love books. Specifically the Target books. They're very short, very easy to read. You can read them about a day, and it's a bite-sized Doctor Who adventure for when you're, having a ride on the train. Absolutely splendid. Love a good book. And yeah, and a lot of these adventures in these books, and I'm talking outside outside of the Target books, we've got like the Cricket Men and stuff like that, where what they're describing in these books would go way out of the budget for any BBC show. And I mean, probably out of the budget for Star Wars, for example. So the fact that I'd say novels would be a great one. Another one is audio dramas. So we got like Big Finish, got a lot of fan audio dramas out there as well. And I'm a big fan of audio dramas myself. I never actually, admittedly, listened to a Doctor Who audio drama all the way through. I've never felt like I needed to. I've always felt like I get my Doctor Who fix rather well. Mainly through this podcast, actually, where we'll watch, Doctor Who episodes together, and we'll have a chat about them every week. Absolutely love it. So that's how I get my fix of Doctor Who, through the series arc. But with audio dramas, no, not so much for me. I do love audio dramas, though. My first audio drama was Batman, The Lazarus Pit, followed by The Dark Knight, the one where Batman gets his back snapped by Bane. Absolutely, those Batman audio dramas are some of the finest audio dramas I've ever heard in my life, and it's those audio dramas that actually got me interested in radio when I went to college. So absolutely beautiful. Another one is comics. I actually own a rare Doctor Who comic, Doctor Who Star Trek crossover, and you know what? Because I never got the time to actually open it and read it, I still have it sealed. And now I found out that sealed, it's actually worth a lot of money. It's worth I think it was £100 when I last looked at it on eBay. So quite amazing that I managed to secure such a high value Doctor Who item. Now the other option, the fourth option, so we got novels, audio drama, comics, but the final option, now bear with me on this one, but it's music. Now I don't mean the soundtrack, but the soundtrack is amazing, right? I think my favourite track on Doctor Who, other than The Rings of Arcanum, la 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 la, wake up, Wake up, and now you lie, Ollie, and then you. Anyway, but there's also I think my other favourite one is it's called "I Am a Doctor," Matt Smith's theme song, where it would go do 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 do. When it's like we first heard it in the 11th hour, and it goes basically run. Do 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 do. But no, that's not what I mean when. Well, it is kind of what I mean when I say music. It does count. So if that's the reason why, if that's how you consume Doctor Who in between seasons, then yeah, vote for that. But for me, when I've ever experienced Doctor Who music, it's through the Whovians, the people who make their fan music, like fan fiction. And there's specifically a band that I actually credit to get me back into Doctor Who way back when I fell off the bandwagon for a while. Not because I didn't like it or anything, but because I basically didn't have the time to watch it. But Chameleon Circuit with Alex Day, Charlie McDonnell, they created their own. Alex Day created a genre of music called Trock, which is basically Time Lord rock. Rock that's just essentially about Doctor Who, Time Lord. I think my favourite song of theirs is what we got to was one Don't Blink. It's Don't Blink. Do 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 do. I said Don't Blink. And then there's the other one where there's an awful lot of running, and they did it in like the style of the theme song there. And there's an awful lot of running to do. Absolutely beautiful music. Absolutely fantastic. I think the first album was self-titled, called Chameleon Circuit, and the second one is what David Tennant said about TARDIS when he said, "Still got legs," and so that's what the second album is called. It's a shame the band actually split up, and as a result, there is no more Chameleon Circuit. It's gone now, but there are plenty of other Trock bands out there. Can't name any off the top of my head, but yeah, definitely worth looking up. And considering out of those four options, I'm not actually sure which will win. It's going to be a close one. I know which will come last. Actually, do I? It's between comics and music as to which option will come last. Essentially, I think audio drama will win, just purely based on how Big Finish is. How Big Finish. I'm so funny. But then novels are really big as well, and there's a lot of notable authors within the novel. Like Douglas Adams, for example, is a massive writer. Mark Gatiss also wrote a lot of Doctor Who. So it's Neil Gaiman as well, actually, yeah. So yeah, I really don't know which will win. I think it'll be audio drama, or it'll be novels. But definitely not comics or music. They're going to be last place. Probably music in last place, to be fair. Now, moving on to the next section of the show, which is the Nuvian Who's Network. Now, we've only got two pieces of news this week. Number one, it's not exactly new news, but it is Who news. But the Judoon are set to return in New Who in an in an image that was released a few months ago. It shows Jodie Whittaker and what looks like to be a very in-charge Judoon having a sort of standoff. Don't know what's going on. They look very, 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 very serious. And with some more Judoons in the background, it's got sort of mohawk going on. And Jodie Whittaker, for once, looks very serious. Again, I've never had an issue with Jodie Whittaker's performance as the Doctor. My entire issue with the previous season of Doctor Who was the writing. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best that Doctor Who has to offer. Anyway, so they are looking to make a return with Judoon, one of my favourite New Who enemies, definitely. They first came onto our screens 12 years ago, in 2007, in the episode Smith and Jones. Martha Jones. Martha! Why is it every big hero in the in every universe has someone called Martha at the screen? like Batman, Superman, the Doctor, Martha, how do you know that name? Yeah, that was basically what I just did was I did the entire Batman v Superman plot. It was basically 3 hours of two grown men screaming Martha at each other. It was heartwarming. I cried. Anyway, so are we looking forward to seeing what you're doing coming back? Yes, we are. Now, next up, for all you budding writers out there, Big Finish is looking for a new writer to create an original adventure featuring Bernice Summerfield and the Unbound Doctor. Now, it's a competition, and in order to enter, you'll need to send in a single-page synopsis and a 3,000-word sample of the script by 23:59 UK time on the 20th of September 2019. Late entries will not be accepted. So, if you really want to kick off your writing career, get noticed, or even get a bit of feedback, Big Finish have opened their doors at last. For more information on that, all you need to do is go to the Big Finish Twitter page, or just type into Google Big Finish writing competition, I guess, and it'll come straight up, first result. Make sure you're on an official Big Finish website. Don't go into any of those dodgy third-party websites, because I don't want to be responsible if your information gets out there into the ether. I'm not responsible for your own data. You are. Okay? Now that's it for Newbie and Who's Network. There's no Whostory lesson this week because it just doesn't feel the same doing Whostory by myself. So I will be waiting for Lewis to come back and Brian, so we can do a proper show. I've watched it, by the way. Shorthand, Macro Terror is amazing, but I don't want to discuss it yet. So, moving on to our final segment as we reach the end of the show. I wonder if we're at 22 minutes and 15 seconds. I do wonder if we'll hit half an hour, which was kind of my personal goal, but we'll see how it goes. So, first of all, don't worry, Miranda. We are 100% doing Macro Terror next week. I promise. That basically means no matter what, even if Brian and Lewis aren't there, we're still going to do it. I'll just have to do it by myself, okay? Miranda, I've got your back. Okay? Love you. Mwah. Right, we also have an email from Zachary Johnson. If Doctor Who couldn't continue in its current format, how would you like Doctor Who to continue? Well, Zachary, kind of... FYI, I'm going to put all... We don't get that many emails, so I typically put all the emails on the podcast, on the show. Anyway, we kind of already answered that in the poll, really, by about other forms of how Doctor Who would continue. So I'm going to try and mix it up as to how I would like Doctor Who to change in the eventuality that it gets cancelled. And by that I mean, I absolutely love the spin-offs that Doctor Who does. I really, it's no secret that I enjoyed Class. Class was one of the finest Doctor Who spin-offs I've ever seen. Obviously, Sarah Jane Adventures isn't going to return because Elizabeth Sladen passed away, rest in peace. But, there's also Torchwood. John Barrowman is still, kicking around, and he gets involved with Big Finish a lot to do their audio dramas. So I see no reason why he can't come forward and do a show, come back and do Torchwood, get the old gang back together. Maybe even for the next anniversary show, I don't mind Doctor Who taking a break between, sometimes we'll get a year hiatus like this time. Other times, I think the longest hiatus we've had is about 2 years with Doctor Who. I wouldn't mind if we did a season on of Doctor Who and a season off, if we had something in between. So if we did have Torchwood, or if we did have Class, just so that we can keep Doctor Who coming, keep it coming. I maintain that Class failed because it was on BBC Three and not BBC Two. In my mind, BBC putting something on BBC Three means that they don't have confidence in the product. And it's Doctor Who. If you don't have confidence in a Doctor Who product, then you shouldn't be making it in the first place, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my opinion. I want them to do more spin-offs. Just until the show gets back on its feet again. So if they do have a stage where, let's say the next 2 seasons of Doctor Who bomb like astronomically to where people just stopped watching it altogether, I'd love Doctor Who to just continue as a spin-off, get some more Torchwood out there and have previous Doctors just pop up from time to time and do guest appearances like, haha, I'm the Doctor doing Doctor stuff. Get David Tennant in there, Matt Smith, just to pop up and be their version of a Doctor and help out the gang. I think it'd be really good. A bit like, basically, I want the BBC to make a spin-off show that's a lot like, oh gosh dang it, what's that show called? Oh, it'll come back to me. It was the comedy, UK comedy, sci-fi. Gosh dang it, what's it called? Red Dwarf, that's it. So I want them to make another Red Dwarf, like a series like Red Dwarf, and just make a fun spin-off, basically Red Dwarf, if you've not seen it, we're just travelling around the universe and just getting up to mischief. Like it's a comedy. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so that's basically what I'd want. In a more direct Doctor Who capacity, where we actually want to see the Doctor, I wouldn't mind another animated series. Or a film, for example, would be nice as well. Now, we've got another email from Robert Smith. Okay. And this is how we're going to end the show. Email from Robert Smith. I'm not sure what emails are appropriate for Gallifrey and Gabble. Robert, all emails are appropriate for Gallifrey and Gabble. Okay? And by the way, I'm really glad you emailed in. This is it's such a nice email, thank you. But I just want to say Lewis is my favourite on the podcast. He is funny, witty, and on the ball all the time. If Jamie is the mastermind of a show, Lewis is the humour. Now, Lewis, I don't know if you're listening to this right now, or if because you're on holiday, soaking up the sun, I think. I don't know. That's probably Robert, I think you just made Lewis's day. Wherever he is right now, whenever he listens to this, you really did just make his day. Massive thank you to Robert Smith for emailing in. Big thank you to ZitFam for making our logo. Wherever you are, whatever you do, you keep popping those zits, girl. You can follow Lewis at Elbrook19 or Elbrook18, can't remember which one it is, on Twitter, or just follow him in real life. I highly recommend that. Take a picture of his of the back of his head. Follow Brian on Twitter at Beej007. You can follow myself on Twitter at Watson's Musings. Also, don't forget you can always email in at thewhovianshow@gmail.com, and you can also send us messages on Twitter at Whoniverse Show. That's also where we post all our polls. So if you want to get involved in the conversation, you just give us a call. Okay? So basically, you've been listening to Whovian Whoniverse. Have a week. Oh, sugar. I didn't get to 30 minutes. Right, okay, let's see. How can I kill? There's just one more minute. Okay, I'll tell a joke. And the barman said, "Sorry, we don't serve Time Lords here." The doctor walked into a bar.